Today in the battle arena, we've got two of the most iconic armored heroes going head to head. Iron Man versus Samus Aran. Who comes out on top? Well, let's find out.
Hear the music.
I could do this all day.
Tony Stark was an arrogant son of wealthy weapons manufacturer Howard Stark. Tony cared only about himself, but this changed when he had change of heart after he was kidnapped by terrorists and gravely injured. Stark was pressured to create a weapon of mass destruction, but instead created a suit of power armor to escape. Tony now uses vast resources and intellect to make the world a better place as the invincible Iron Man. Iron Man's abilities are constantly changing, because he's continuously updating and improving his armor, but he has some powers that are pretty consistent. But just for clarity's sake, Tony will be given his bleeding edge armor in this fight. Alright, let's get started. Now the armor gives Tony superhuman strength, and he's easily able to lift over 100 tons. He's even managed to take down the Red Hulk, stagger the actual Hulk, and brawl against Taurus, who had just taken down Thor with a few blows. The armor grants Tony incredible speed as well, and he can outmaneuver and dodge missiles and laser fire. But perhaps most impressive is being able to outmaneuver Gladiator, and even speed blitz Phoenix Force Cyclops. One of the most impressive things about the suit, though, is its durability and shields. Tony was able to hold his own against Colossus with Juggernaut's powers, a hallucinating Thor, and Rogue with the powers of Hulk. His shields also held up against the final form of Ultron and Emma Frost, with half of the Phoenix Force on her side. Bleeding Edge is also equipped with countless different weapons, with the most common being repulsor rays, unibeams, and missiles and lasers. He also has miniature cluster bombs, homing lasers, multidirectional repulsors, microscopic telepathic tasers, and a sonic weapon that nearly killed Juggernaut. Tony is also incredibly intelligent, one of the smartest men in the world, a skilled fighter, having been trained by Captain America, and is actually an excellent strategist that's able to use his intellect to think of countless ways to take down opponents. So that's what we got in one corner, the Armored Avenger, Iron Man. But coming in the other corner, one of the galaxy's best bounty hunters, Samus Aran. Samus Aran is the protagonist of the Metroid series, frequently crossing paths with dangerous creatures called Metroids in her adventures. As a bounty hunter, she uses an armored power suit to hunt space pirates and other dangerous forces. Being infused with the Chozo DNA, having been trained to be a warrior since a child, Samus is a vastly superior athlete than most people. She's capable of running and jumping much faster and higher, and has survived falls that otherwise kill someone. Samus has also shown some remarkable hand-to-hand fighting and sharpshooting skills, often using kicks and wrestling tactics to weaken an opponent, and she's an excellent marksman with an incredibly deadly aim. And all of this just further augmented by her power suit. This is Samus' most notable piece of equipment, and has become virtually synonymous with her identity. Her suit is powerful enough to kill and vaporize giant monsters with just one or two shots, destroy whole rooms full of soldiers, and she's even vaporized a dark version of herself with one full-powered shot from her armor. She's durable enough to survive being hit or crushed by massive beasts, and is incredibly fast as well, being able to blitz opponents, disarm creatures in a blur, dodge bullets from 100 soldiers at once, and she's hit multiple soldiers at the same time. Samus is also always packing some seriously powerful and deadly weapons, like Energy Blast, missiles, super missiles, and power bombs. She's got the Volt Driver, which is capable of drawing energy from the planet's electromagnetic field, and converts it into a multi-terawatt burst of energy. The Imperialist, which is a long-range cascaded laser, and the Omega Cannon, which has been referred to before as a weapon of mass destruction. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now today we've got two of the most famous armored heroes out there going head to head. Iron Man, the Armored Avenger, and Samus Aran, the galaxy's greatest bounty hunter. But who's coming out on top? Well, in order to figure that out, the first thing we have to take a look at is physicality. Now, in the Bleeding Edge suit, Tony is impressively strong. Arguably, one of the strongest heroes on Earth. He's fought against Magneto while Eric was amped with the magnetic fields of several planets. He staggered the Hulk again and again with his punches. We all know how strong the Hulk is. He's brought against the monster Taurus, who had just knocked out Thor with a couple blows, and he's manhandled Red Hulk before. And even though Ross wasn't actively fighting back, Red Hulk has fought evenly against the Hulk before, and Iron Man is making him look like a fool. Strength-wise, Samus just can't compete with Tony. But she's definitely not weak, especially in her power armor. For instance, she used her grapple beam to lift up Vurash, a giant lava whale, despite the whale having the strength and size to smash through stone and metal structures. Durability-wise, once again I give the edge to Tony. He survived massive explosions, Thor's divine energy. He's been undamaged by Gladiator's heat vision, and was the first to recover after being hit with a blast from the Infinity Gauntlet. He survived the heat of being inside Odin's forge. He's still able to somewhat function at absolute zero temperatures, and is unharmed after being hit by blades and other sharp objects. Iron Man has even taken punches from Colossus with Juggernaut's powers, Rogue with Hulk's powers, a hallucinating Thor, and a possessed Destroyer armor. His shields have easily stood up to attacks from Wonder Man, and even taken attacks from Final Form Ultron and Phoenix Force Emma Frost. He's even used his shield to protect himself from Professor X and his telepathy, and has trapped and contained Apocalypse before. Samus just can't compete with that, even though she is super durable herself. Samus's suit is designed to nullify damage from extreme temperatures, to the point where she can be completely submerged in lava or be frozen solid. She survived being hit or being punched through walls by amped monsters with minimal damage, so out attacks from Gore, who's strong enough to throw spaceships, and has no sold energy blast from other opponents in armored suits. Then with Samus's screw attack, well, she's able to coat herself in an energy field, and it's blocked super missiles and beams from SAX. So projectiles may not be too much of a problem. Then finally, what about speed? Now, while Iron Man is able to take a pretty definitive advantage with strength and durability, speed is really where these two heroes are the closest. Tony is able to pretty much instantly suit up in his armor, suiting up in the middle of a car crash, middle of an explosion, or suiting up and dodging a missile. His suit has extreme processing speeds, being able to process information about an explosion while he was still in the middle of an explosion, and he's kept up with Phoenix Force Hope, speed blitzed Phoenix Force Cyclops, and outmaneuvered Gladiator before. But with Samus Aran, well, she's regularly blitzed opponents, moved like a blur, dodged Sonic Blast and Plasma shots, dodged bullets from 100 soldiers all at once, and has actually been able to escape an exploding base in just under 3 seconds. She's been able to move around, while hypersonic and supersonic objects around her seem to be moving in slow motion, and she's been able to steer and maneuver her ship using the control pad while it was flying at near the speed of light. Samus may even have some level of precognition, as she's got Chozo DNA, and Chozos have been described as having begun to glimpse rough tatters of past and future, glittering behind reality like soft lights behind a curtain. This would actually explain why she's been able to dodge attacks that she didn't even see coming, like Vorash the lava whale attempting to eat her. However, all in all, physically, Iron Man definitely has the advantage here. But it's not just a physical hand-to-hand fight. as Samus's greatest asset here is gonna be all of her incredibly powerful and versatile weapons. Her power beam is her default weapon of choice, but she can also mix it up a little bit, with the charge beam being a more upgraded version of the shot, the long beam extending for a longer distance, and the wide beam firing out 3 different shots rather than just one individual beam. Some of her other weapons include the ice beam, being able to freeze people solid, the plasma beam, which can pierce through multiple enemies at once, dark beam, which fires dark energy, and the annihilator beam or phazon beams, which are some of her most powerful weapons in her arsenal. The battle hammer is a mortar weapon powered by a small nuclear reactor. The magma fires molten projectiles, and the Judicator fires plasma at near absolute zero. She's even got missiles, ice missiles, super missiles, and seeker missiles, which can fire 5 missiles at 5 opponents simultaneously. But the majority of Samus's weapons might not be super effective against Iron Man. I mean, the bleeding edge armor is arguably the most durable armor that Tony has ever created, and that's saying something. I mean, other versions of his armor have survived nuclear bombs while he was just functioning on 2% of his energy reserves. And then when going up against Samus's normal power beam blast, well, Tony has withstood massive explosions, Thor's divine energy, and attacks from the Infinity Gauntlet. He might not even have to deal with the attack directly, considering that his shields have held up to Final Form Ultron and Phoenix Force Emma Frost. For any heat attacks, well, Tony's been unfazed by Gladiator's heat vision and survived in the heat of Odin's forge. Really, the most effective weapon that Samus has got in her arsenal has got to be her ice weapons. I mean, she can fire near absolute zero plasma attacks. And while Tony still has limited function while being hit with absolute zero temperatures, it did impact him and drastically lowers energy reserves. But for the most part, while Samus has got some powerful weapons, Iron Man's got her beat. I mean, we're talking about so much more than just his go-to repulsor blast, missiles, or unibeams. He's got homing lasers, multidirectional repulsors, tasers, magnet weapons, massive electrical attacks, and miniature cluster bombs. He's forced Emma Frost to her knees, knocked down Dark Phoenix Cyclops, staggered Mangog, nearly killed Juggernaut, staggered the Hulk, killed Terminus, and has consistently one-shot Ulik, who's strong enough to go up against Thor. Iron Man is even able to form basically any weapon that he can think of, ranging from boxing gloves to giant arm cannons to even creating repulsor blades that have been able to injure Thor-level opponents. So, end of the day, who wins here? Well, I think that's gotta be Iron Man. Yes, Samus Aran is powerful, and her ice weapons can be effective, but for the most part, Iron Man is going to be either fast enough to dodge them or durable enough to take the attacks and keep on chugging. On the other hand, Samus isn't nearly durable enough to consistently take attacks from Iron Man, attacks that can easily take down Thor-level opponents, and she probably can't even stand up to too many of his punches, considering he's staggered the Hulk. And that's not even mentioning Iron Man's ability to regenerate his armor after it's been destroyed, or EMP blasts that are powerful enough to knock out both the Baxter Building and War Machine, an attack that he himself is immune to. End of the day, Iron Man is just on another level than Samus Aran, and he's coming out on top here. Iron Man wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sound off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to hit that like button, the subscribe button, and turn on notifications to join the Fanco army, and I will see y'all next time.